Today I'm out photographing dragonflies. Now I do a video once a year on photographing dragonflies, mainly because the gear changes from year to year, and this year I'm using the OM1 Mark II with the DxO 150-400 Pro lens. So if you're new to photographing dragonflies, the first thing you need is to find a location with dragonflies. At this location we have a lot of dragonflies out and about today, and the first thing you want to do is just stand and observe the dragonflies, because dragonflies, there's different species of them. You've got emperors, you've got darters, some of them perch up, some of them don't. And what you want to do is take a look at the dragonflies that are available in your location and get to learn their behaviour and their patterns. If you can learn their behaviour and patterns, it will help you to get a better image. For instance, the large emperor dragonflies, they very rarely perch up, they mostly patrol the areas, and they have a particular area that they patrol. They don't like intruders, they will fight off anything that comes into their area. And you've got things like darters and that, they will perch up. So if you find one of their perches, so if you observe them, you see where they land, they have favourite perches that they will come back to time after time. So when we're talking dragonflies, there's two types of shots that you're mainly looking at. You've got the perched up shots, like these ones that I'm showing you now, and then you've got the in-flight shots. One's easy, one's not, and as you probably guessed already, the in-flight shots are the hardest ones to get because dragonflies are so unpredictable. Their rings are independent rings, and what I mean by that is they beat individually, which means a dragonfly can fly up, down, left, right, forward and backwards, and they can do it very, very quick. They can turn on a dime, literally instantly. Trying to predict that is very hard. So for dragonflies in flight, gear can make the difference. Let's talk camera gear and camera settings. I will be using the OM system OM1 Mark II with the DxO ED 150-400mm f4.5 Pro lens. There are certain features on this camera that will make our task a little bit easier, mainly pro capture, but there's two different settings that I have on my camera, and I've customized them to a C3 and a C4, and essentially they're almost the exact same settings I use for my birding. So if you've got a bird that's perched, that's my C3 setting, and in-flight birds is my C4. Dragonflies that are perched up on perches that are scattered throughout this pool, I'm going to start off with a setting of 1/500 of a second. We're going to go with f4.5, so we're wide open, and I will set the ISO to auto ISO. Now unfortunately today the sun is in and out, in and out. If it was overcast, I could set my ISO manually. If it was sunny, I could set it manually, but with it going in and out and us having a fast moving subject, I would prefer to set it to auto ISO, so I've got a better chance of actually capturing the image. I'm on the fastest frames per second that I can get on this camera, so set your camera up for the fastest. Perched, it's not that necessary, but if he takes off, you might be able to get a half decent shot. If in doubt, go for the in-flight settings. For that I'm using between 1/2000 and 1/3200 of a second. You can just leave it on that for when it's perched as well. You can also use Pro Capture for that. If he takes off, you're going to be able to capture him taking off. But what's important is my subject detect. I have it currently set to birds. Now I have seen online and several people have told me to use airplane mode, but I found that the subject detection on birds seems to work better for my experience. Let me know in the comment below what your experience is of airplane mode versus birds for dragonflies in flight. I will be using Pro Capture. If your camera has any type of feature that is like Pro Capture, which is when we half press our shutter button, it starts to capture images into the buffer of the camera. Once you press the button all the way down, it saves those images. You can get some great action shots using Pro Capture. So if your camera supports that, any type of Pro Capture, then I would suggest you use that for your dragonflies. Perched up, not so important, but in flight, definitely want to be using Pro Capture. All we got to do now is find the dragonflies that we want. They are very fast, they're very agile. So I'm going to have a walk around this pool now. I'm going to set up my Ninja on the top of my camera so you can see the EVF. So we've got a lot of activity going all the way down this pool. This is a situation for dragonflies in flight. So I'm going to switch to my C4 and you'll see my settings instantly change in the EVF. If you haven't set your camera's custom modes up, then please do so. It is a lifesaver. Watch my settings here. So I'm going to quickly go to C3. That is my perched up bird setting, which happens to work great for dragonflies. And then with one little switch, I can switch over to in-flight shots. So yeah, take a look at your custom settings and do set them up. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to zoom out to 150. We're going to find a dragonfly, press my button for focusing, half press my shutter to start capturing images. I'll then zoom in, and if I see something in the viewfinder I like, I'm going to quickly press the button. And then for the rest of the video, it's literally rinse and repeat until you find something you like. So again, when I spoke about the dragonfly behaviour, you're going to stand here, you're going to observe the dragonflies and see, is there a particular area where the dragonfly is going to hover? And there is a couple of areas. The downside is it's right by some reeds, which means our background is going to be quite messy. And we want to go for a clean background whenever possible. There's me lecturing the audience about pressing the button, I didn't press it. So in this area right here, they're coming down and they're just hovering there a little bit. Here comes, oh no, they're fighting. I'm going to bump my shutter speed up to 3200. Here he is. Unfortunately, he's facing away from us. Oh, we almost had one perch up then. So when it comes to dragonflies, I'm not the best at IDing them. So what we're going to do is have a competition. Every time you see a picture of a dragonfly, pause the video, go down in the description and let me know which species of dragonfly it is. Let's test your knowledge out, shall we? Yeah, that's another bum shot. You're going to get a lot of out of focus shots. You're also going to get a lot of shots of the dragonflies facing away from you as well. Yeah, he doesn't want to face the camera, does he? Oh, God. Is that a darter maybe? The focus was having a little bit of trouble with this darter. Where is he? We've got a lot of activity here and, oh, hold on. Just not in a good place, unfortunately. Maybe if I kneel down. Let's see what we can get if we kneel down. Still there. So the autofocus is locking onto the background grass. Now, the easiest way to get over this is just to use manual focus. So I'm going to use manual focus to get the shots that I want. Okay, where are you? There he is. Missed him. Come here. Oh, the big blue ones have turned up and started fighting. Right, okay. So I've had a moderate amount of success there, but I'm not going to hang around here. And the reason why I'm not going to hang around is I know we've got a better spot down the end of the pool. So we're going to head down there now, and we're going to get set up down there, and we're going to get one of the emperors in flight, if possible. So I've come down to the end of the pool, and again, we're going to go through the procedure of watching the dragonflies, see where they go, are there any perches that they want to land on, and we can see one already on a perch right in front of us. And they are very active. They're barely on the perches before they take off again. So if you've got one like in front of us here that keeps landing in the same place, you can get set up for a perch shot. So I'm just observing him now. He's taken off landing. So I'm going to switch to my C3, which is my perch settings. Let's see which perches he's going to land on. There he is. I'm going to switch to airplane, see if it's going to work now. As you could see there, my autofocus wasn't quite finding the subject. That's because there's blades of grass in front of it. So if you find that, then just quickly switch to your manual focus. Now on this particular camera, we could have autofocus plus manual focus. So I don't have to change any settings. All I got to do is just start turning my manual focusing ring to get the Dragonfly in focus. So now I want to go for some in-flight shots. So I'm going to switch to my C4 and I'm going to bump my shutter speed up to 3200. Take my teleconverter off because I was using the teleconverter. So I'm at 4.5 auto ISO. Let's see if we can get some Dragonflies in flight shots. So my focusing points, what I'm using here is the whole sensor. Okay, I'm letting the camera decide where to go. Now, if you're after a particular shot, you might want to go into your focus points and then narrow it down a bit. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to narrow it down to just in the center. That would now tell the camera to concentrate on the center for focusing. If you're on an older camera, like a DSLR, then use the center points for focusing. It might increase your chances of getting a in-focus shot of a dragonfly in flight. You can see that darter. I think it's a darter. Let me know in the comments below which one it is. The red one. Okay, the red one will, from now on, we're going to say it's the red one. We'll say it's the red one. You see that red one is constantly landing in the same place. That's his perch. So if you are struggling to hold your camera, you want to have a break, put it on a tripod, point it towards one of the perches, then just wait for the dragonfly to turn up. Right, we're waiting for this emperor now to come over here. He's too low down. You're going to find this. You're going to find that they are very quick at moving around. You could spend 10-15 minutes and not even take a shot. It's perfectly normal. You've got to have patience, keep trying, and eventually you're going to have one that comes into your field of view, into your focus plane, and then you just press that button, hold it down until it goes, okay? Just keep on going. In fact, that one just then was way too close to me. Could have done with a smaller lens. Now, one thing while you're doing this, you're practicing, keep an eye on your backgrounds. You want a nice, smooth, out of focus background. So if you look at there, that's not a good background, okay? Even if I blur it slightly, look, it's just not good. But if we bring it over, we can get a nice, smooth, out of focus background against the water. So if you go against the water or the sky, that'll give you a nice background. If the dragonfly is far enough away from the background foliage, it'll give you a nice out of focus background. But also, against the water and the sky, the camera has an easier time of auto-focusing on because there's contrast between the subject and your background. So bear that in mind on where you're perching up, get the pun, to take your photo. On this particular area, we have the dragonflies coming towards us, so we've got plenty of time to try and anticipate where they're going to be. So I just got a nice side-on view there of the dragonfly, and he's there again in exactly the same position. So again, know your subject, know their behaviour. I know for a fact they're going to keep going round in this exact same pattern, probably all day long, because it is a nice sunny and warm day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the Ninja because it's very heavy, it's very cumbersome. When I'm looking for the EVF, I can't see no information at all, so I don't even know what my shooting settings are at because it's all up here, and I don't particularly want to do it like this. Or would that be like a real professional if I'm using it like this? I don't know. But what I will do is I'm going to show you the images that I'm going to get now from today, and the next couple of days I'm going to be here doing the same thing as well. So here are the images now. All these images have been edited in Lightroom using my macro presets. Head down to the description below if you want to take a look at my presets. So throughout this video you've seen me talk about the settings that I use for the dragonflies, whether they're perched up or in flight. Now those settings are not magic numbers and they are not set in stone, so do play around with them. I am going to briefly talk about the settings and what they do. First of all is your shutter speed. The higher the shutter speed, the more action you will freeze. The lower the shutter speed, the more motion blur you're going to get. And I like to have a nice shutter speed that freezes the dragonfly but doesn't completely freeze the wings. I like a little bit of motion in the wings. That is personal choice. It's completely up to you what you choose. However, there are some drawbacks. As we increase our shutter speed, we have to increase our ISO to compensate for the lack of light hitting our sensor. That can create noise and grain, a lack of dynamic range and detail. So when we take the image and we take it through a denoising software, you can lose some detail in your Dragonfly, so bear that in mind. So it's a nice fine balance between the two to get what you want. F-stops. Now I'm shooting at 4.5, it's working okay, but you can increase your f-stop. Bear in mind that when you increase the f-stop, again, there's less light hitting your sensor, so your ISO has to come up, so that's that noise and grain issue again, but also more of the background will become in focus. So that's something you need to bear in mind. So if you've got a long distance between the Dragonfly and the background, you can get away with bumping up your f-stop. If your Dragonfly is around by the bank, you might want to keep it as wide open as possible to blur out that background. And again, when it comes to ISO, try and keep it as low as possible. I'm on a Micro Four Thirds system, so this system inherently has less light hitting the sensor than a full frame system, but you do have to be careful what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you have to get a shot that is sharp and in focus, because it doesn't matter how good the software is, doesn't matter how good your camera is. If you've got a blurred photo, you're not fixing it in post afterwards. But a noisy and grainy image, we can fix and get at least a presentable image. So have a play around with those settings. Have a play with motion blur by lowering your shutter, freeze the rings by highering the shutter, and have a play with the f-stop to see if you can increase your depth of field, but at the same time keep your background nice and blurred. And again, break the rules. Here's a shot I did of a Dragonfly on a manual focus lens. And what's the difference between that one and the settings I've been using today? Simple. I observed the Dragonfly, I could see where it was hovering time after time, and I got set up with my camera pre-focused on a manual lens and waited for him to turn up. So you don't need the latest greatest gear, but it does improve your chances. If you want to show me some of your images, then please do so. One of the easiest ways to do it is to tag me on social media, or you could join my new macro photography community and post your images in one of the supplied forum posts dedicated to showing your work. Let me see your images, I would love to see them. I want to thank you for getting to the end of this video, and again, as always, I'll see you on the next one.